Weekend Modder here with a special send-in proof video because it is a double. Here is the first console. This is the one that I just did today. This was actually the second console sent in by Gary A. This is a 4 GB Corona that did not require a postfix. I believe that puts it in the V2 category. So we did the Muffin CR4 speed up install using a Matrix V1 chip. We didn't change the LEDs on this one, as there was an indication on the send-in form there was no desire to change that. We've got Freestyle Dash, Dash Launch, XEX menu, and Aurora Dash all pre-installed on the console. As you can see here, it's going to boot up directly into Freestyle Dashboard. So be sure to check out the video links in your final confirmation email. There's some good links to playlists and stuff that have some really useful content for how to get started here. But otherwise, we'll go ahead and get this thing packed up and headed your way. And then let me power this one off, and we'll give you a little demo with the other console. So this is one that has kind of an interesting story. I got a batch of Ace V3s recently that were no bueno when I was trying to restock. And it was my opinion that Ace had killed this console, and I went ahead and replaced it with a different console, which for some reason Gary had issues with. We think maybe due to the power supply, but lo and behold, go back to the original console that he sent in, and after having the original NAND written to it and then sitting around for 3 or 4 days, it resumed booting and functioning. And I've been really careful to test this thing a whole bunch. I actually ran it overnight one night, just to be sure that it wasn't like a fluke, that it was still functional, whatever, and it did what it was supposed to do. It stayed cool, it's fine. So I think the console is totally fine. Based on a little bit of research, I think that there's some sort of internal E-fuse or fuse that can reset that may have been blown, and by leaving it without power for like 48 hours, that reset, and then the console with the original NAND written back resumed, and then I was able to re-glitch it using a CR4 speed up Matrix chip rather than the bogus Ace chips. So all that said, went ahead and again RGH this with the Muffin CR4 install. This is a Corona that did require a postfix adapter, so that puts it in like the V3 V4 territory. It does have the 4 gig on board. There is no hard drive in it currently. Gary, it looks like you kept the hard drive out of the console when you sent the other one back, so no hard drive in there. But we did do blue LEDs on this guy, so I actually don't recall whether on those. I did this while I was actually doing the recent interview video that you may have seen posted to the main Weekend Modder channel. So as you can see, it's booting here. We're going to boot. I don't even know if I loaded the software. I didn't. What I'll do here real quick while you're watching, just to make sure there's no issues here, is I will sync a controller, and I'll throw a copy of XEX menu on the 4 gig internal, just in case your hard drive gives you some issues. That'll give you a base tool to get started with. So I just threw my USB in there. Go ahead and let that load into the storage menu here. Alright, and then we'll copy the... No, I'm not going to do that right now. Yes. Copy that onto the internal memory unit. Oh, and I'll update Dash Launch real quick too, because the version baked into these images isn't the most current one. That'll be good in case you plug it in for stealth service sort of stuff. All right, so as XEX menu finishes here, what we'll do is just back out of the settings stuff, and then when we go to the games tab, you'll actually see two copies because the USB is still present. And then I'll browse to, because the update, well, let's just do the update. If I don't do the update when I try to launch XEX menu, it's just going to complain and complain and won't even let me launch it, and so it just makes sense to go ahead and apply it. This is basically what amounts to the avatar update. The console's already on 17511, the very most recent dash, but it's the avatar update that it needs to apply after being RGH'd. This was probably already stored on the hard drive, but given the only storage it has access to now is the internal 4 gig, it needs to install it there. And then the console will actually reboot. So it's a normal bug for this upper left LED to hang, but in a second you'll see it'll turn off and then it'll do a normal LED animation here. So I can give you a full screen on, there it goes. So just as I said, it drops and then does the LED animation. And then actually we could, no, I said I wanted to do the dash launch update. I was going to say we could pull the USB, but I don't want to do that until after I do the dash launch update. So we'll sign in, avatar update's installed. As you can see, the little avatar has a shape now. So we go into XEX menu, right D-pad or right bumper over to USB, launch dash launch, and this is what I was talking about. It wants to update dash launch, and there we go. That's all it takes. Now there's a current version of dash launch on there. So thank you very much for your business, your patience. I understand that we had a little bit of a frustrating situation. I hope that you're able to attest to folks that I'm a make it right kind of guy. That even when we thought there was some question about this console, that I did actually replace it out of my own pocket with a adequate replacement, even though there was some weird issue there too. So long story short, your console, RGH, both of them, I'll get those packed up. They'll go back out to you tomorrow, which is Wednesday. So with any luck, you'll have them on Friday or Saturday. So thanks and enjoy.